Hi, I'm Emily. I'm with the Healthy Transition Program here at Tennessee Voices. Can you just, so I make sure I have the right face sheet about you, can you just tell me your name real quick?
My name is Sarah Green.
Okay, and how old are you, Sarah?
I'm 24.
Okay, and what's your birthday?
July 11th, 1990. Oh, that's not right. I didn't do the math on the years. I don't know when 24-year-old would be born.
And Sarah, what is your birthday?
July 11, 1996.
Okay, and I see that um, you marked your ethnicity on this chart as white, and what's your preferred gender and pronouns?
Female, she.
Okay. Um, so just so you know, before we begin this assessment, I want to let you know that everything that's said here will be kept between like the two of us and the people directly involved in your treatment, unless you disclose anything about wanting to harm or kill yourself or others, or disclose current abuse related to children, elders, or disabled people. Is that okay with you?
Yes, as long as you don't tell my boss anything about me.
Oh, we won't tell your boss unless you want us to disclose something, and we would need your written permission to do that.
Okay, good.
Okay. So can you just tell me a little bit about what brought you in here today?
My mom really wanted me to go to the doctor because she, for whatever reason, thought that I was using drugs or that I wasn't okay. And I went and he did the drug test and a physical test, and everything was fine. And so then he referred me here.
Okay, and what do you think might have prompted concerns from your mom about drug use?
I've been working at this real estate office for about 2 years, and I always knew that my boss, he was out to get me from day one. I always knew it, but I didn't say anything. And then over the last year, it was actually a little bit more, I think 14 months ago, because I remember it was right after my mom's birthday. That's when he started really, going after me. He started monitoring all of my emails, and I could hear him on the phone when I was talking to clients. And then I started seeing him drive past my house. And, I mentioned this to HR, but they just didn't believe me. And then this just got, out of control. And I could hear him even in my kitchen, and I think that he had microphones in my cabinets, and he was just always trying to get ahead of me. And I think, I was just too good for this office, and he was just threatened or something. And, I just was getting really stressful. Then the office asked me to switch to part-time because things were tense at work. Of course, they're tense because when you have a crazy boss who's always following around his employees and, spying on them, then things are going to be tense. And so I've been part-time, and I was, kind of seeing one guy. It was the first like boyfriend that I've had, kind of. And, when things got crazy at work, he said that, things with us weren't working out, and I'm fine. It wasn't that big of a deal, but my mom started getting concerned, and I dodged some of her phone calls because I didn't really want my boss listening in on my calls with my mom. And that's when she told me that I should go to the doctor because she was worried about me. And even though I don't agree, I love my mom, so I went.
Okay, it sounds like you really value the relationship you and your mother have, and that she's been a good support for you.
Yeah, my mom is really great.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you have someone that can be so supportive. of
Thank you.
you do. So, can you just tell me a little bit about any like past psychiatric history? Like, have you ever had to go to a mental health hospital or see a psychiatrist before?
No, I've only gone to normal doctors.
Oh,
But, I don't think there's a reason to. I think I should go to the police because really this is just getting crazy with my boss, but I never thought to go to another doctor.
okay. So you've been to some normal doctors.
Yes. Um,
Okay, somebody reached for some Kleenex.
oh, I'm okay. I just have some allergies. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let us know if there's anything we can do to help with that. Um,
Thank you.
anyways, you said that you've been seeing the normal doctors. Have you ever had any medical problems or had any surgeries or hospital stays?
No, I think everything's pretty normal. I'm not like my Uncle Kevin. We have an Uncle Kevin. We call him Crazy Kevin because sometimes he goes in and out of the mental doctor clinics or hospitals or whatever they're called. But we don't really talk to him too much. So we always say, oh, we're not like Crazy Kevin. It's just something my family says.
Okay, and so you have an uncle that might have some mental health issues. Do you happen to know what he was diagnosed with or what kind of medicines he's on?
No, we don't really talk to him. Maybe my mom would know. It's her brother.
Okay, and has anybody else in your family ever been diagnosed with any sort of mental health issue or seen a
Excuse me.
psychiatrist or been to a psychiatric facility?
Excuse me. I have allergies. No, as far as I know, no. My family's pretty boring.
Okay, and the next few questions, some of them might not apply to you, but we have to ask them just to make sure we get a good picture of you and figure out well how we can best support you. So, and if a question is too uncomfortable to answer, you don't ever have to go into details. Like, just tell me what you're comfortable with, and we will work with that. So,
Okay.
have you ever had any history of like a really depressed mood or being kind of sad all the time?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. And have you ever had any periods where you feel like you have so much energy that you perhaps maybe stay up through the night and think you can do anything and have like hyperactive spells?
No, I think I'm pretty stable in terms of my energy.
Okay. And have you ever had thoughts such as maybe I would be better off dead or what's the point of living?
No, I think if I wasn't here, that would be terrible for my mom. But also, I'm fine with being alive.
Okay. And have you ever had any thoughts about wanting to hurt or kill somebody else?
No, but I'm sure my boss has.
Okay. And then have you ever like seen or heard things that other people have not been able to see or hear?
Well, when I'm on the phone and I hear my boss making, these quiet noises when he's listening in on my conversations, I've asked my clients if they hear them, but they don't. So I think it's because the microphone is only on my part of the phone. And, I've been in my house and I thought that I've heard him inside, but every time that I go to check, he gets out just in time. So I haven't been able to catch him. Um, and once I was with my mom and I told her, look, he drove past the house, and she said, no, that's just, a neighbor or someone else. But I knew it was my boss because it looked like him, even though they drove by really fast and he thinks he's slick, but I knew it was my boss. So sometimes my mom says she doesn't believe or doesn't see or hear what I'm seeing or hearing, but I see and hear it, so I know that it's there.
Yeah, that sounds a little frustrating, not having other people be able to see those things.
I know, I think he should really be in jail because it's just been ongoing and, it's not legal.
I understand your concern. Moving on with some of the questions. Have you or anyone in your family ever had periods of like really intense anxiety or panic where you felt like you could not calm yourself down or were worrying about things constantly?
No, I worry about my boss, but I try not to let it overtake me because it's, that's what he wants. He wants to be in control and I won't let him. So I try not to let that get to me.
Okay. And have you or anyone in your family ever had any, like, is there a history of trauma in your household? Have you had any trauma?
No, like I said, my family's pretty boring.
Okay. So you said that you've seen things that other people might not be able to see, like you mentioned your boss driving past your house and your mother not seeing that. Is that correct?
Yes, there was a car, but she says it wasn't my boss, but I saw my boss.
Okay. And then you said you've also been hearing your boss's voice on the phone, but other people cannot hear him.
Yeah, it's like a small muffled sound, when someone's trying to be quiet and they're listening to you, but then, they make a sound on accident. Well, that's what I hear, but it's only on my end of the line.
Okay. Just making sure. And if, have you had any other types of audio or visual things like that?
Well, in my house, sometimes when I think I hear my boss, or when he breaks in, but then by the time I get to the door, he's not there. So sometimes I'll hear, him on the other side. Once I heard his voice, I knew it was him, but then, he ran away. He left before I could catch him.
Okay. And do you ever feel like people are, it sounds like you might think your boss is potentially following you or trying to hurt you in some way. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so, I always knew coming into it just from the way he looked that he was, out to get me. And he didn't do much at the beginning, the first, 8 months I was working. And then, like I said, a little over a year ago, that's when, I really started to hear him listening on my phone calls. And, he would put microphones in my kitchen. I'm sure he would put microphones in my kitchen because I would open the shelf, and I thought that I would see something like a small microphone, and then I'd look again, but then it wasn't there. And I don't know if he has them, they're tricky microphones or something, but I'm sure he put them there, and I'm sure he's listening in on everything that I'm saying. He's probably listening right now.
And how would he be listening right now?
I don't know. Maybe he got here before me and he put a microphone somewhere.
Okay. I have not noticed any microphones, but we will, of course, make sure that this conversation stays completely confidential and does not get to your boss.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Um, have you ever maybe felt like you had special powers, like reading somebody's mind or anything like that?
No, that's just silly.
Some of these questions are kind of silly. Have you ever been listening to the radio or TV and felt it like it was referring to you?
No,
Message for you?
no. I mean, sometimes I watch crime shows because, I want to be prepared and I want to see what my boss is going to do next, but those are just normal shows.
Okay. So, do you or does anyone in your family have had a history of maybe drug misuse or alcohol misuse?
Mm, no, I don't know if my crazy Uncle Kevin did any of that stuff because, he's a little crazy, but I'm pretty sure he's just had problems forever. So no
And
drugs or. Mhm.
what kind of problems does your uncle have?
I don't know, sometimes I've only seen him a couple of times, when he's like kind of muttering by himself, but he's been in and out of, psych places, and we don't really have a lot of contact with him, so I'm not too sure. He's got to be in his 50s now, I think, but ever since I was born, he was like this, so.
Okay. And
This is not a drug, but well, I don't know if it technically medically counts as a drug or not, but I've also started smoking a lot of cigarettes lately, in the past year or two, I guess. And I don't know if this is also something that my mom was concerned about. Um, but yeah, I've been smoking, and I don't know if there's some sort of smoking tips or something you can give me just to kind of make my mom feel better, but I've been smoking a lot of cigarettes.
okay, and about how many cigarettes or how many packs would you say you smoke in a day?
I'm not smoking a pack a day, but maybe like half a pack a day or a little bit more.
Okay. Um, and so it sounds like you don't have any trauma history, you don't have any family history of other mental health issues. So we're just gonna get a little bit more information about kind of how your childhood, how you grew up, some social history. So who can you tell me like who you grew up with? And
I don't have brothers or sisters. I had one friend, but she moved away when I was little, and we stayed in touch, but then not so much. Um, I don't really have a lot of close friends. There is one girl that I would study with in college, so we sometimes keep in touch. She reaches out to me a lot, but I like to keep to myself. I watch my TV shows, or sometimes I read, and I'll talk to my mom a lot, but I don't have a big social group because I don't know, it just sounds like I don't want to have a lot of friends, and then one of them starts to be friends with my boss or something, and I'm fine by myself. I don't need a lot of people.
okay. So it sounds like you grew up perhaps with just your mom, or did anyone else live in the house with you?
My dad just works a lot, but he's there. He's fine.
Okay, and how would you describe your relationship with your parents?
Um, I think it's fine. We talk pretty often. I talk more with my mom, but I'll go over there for dinner. But I haven't been going over there for a few months. I've been working part-time, and I've been staying home because I don't want to go out too much. Because if I'm home, I can lock the doors. I can make sure that my boss isn't, coming into my house or following me. But if I go out, then I always have to be looking out for him. And, it's just better if I stay home. So I've been staying home, and I think my mom wants me to come back over for dinner sometimes, but I just prefer to stay home and, you know, just be careful just in case.
Okay, and have you ever been married before?
No,
Okay, so you're single. Um, and do you have any children?
no.
Okay. Um, can you tell me a little bit about your education and employment? Like, did you go to college? What kind of jobs have you had?
Yeah, I went to the University of Tennessee, and I've been working in this real estate office. I studied economics, and um, I've been here for 2 years, so pretty much a little bit after college, I started working at this office. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to stay there because, like I said, now I'm part time, and even when I'm part time, it's just very, it's not a good work environment. It's very tense, and I have my boss there, but I don't know. I'm afraid if I go to a new job, maybe my boss will follow me, or he'll talk to my new boss. So I'm not too sure, but right now I'm just there.
Okay, and did any of these, like, having visions or seeing and hearing things other people that didn't see. Did any of that happen when you were still in college?
Um, Not so much. I mean, I thought that maybe my RA, the resident advisor in my dorm, he always seemed a little suspicious to me too, but he wasn't around too much, so I don't think that he really, got too involved and he didn't start spying on me or anything. But I'm sure that by now, or another resident or something, he would have, because I was always suspicious of him. But I didn't see him too much, so I didn't get to see him in action.
Okay. And have there been any family-based stressors recently, like a death, birth, moves, or divorce?
No, everything's pretty boring.
Okay, and is there a history of military service with you or your family?
No.
Okay, and I feel like we already covered this, but do you have a history of verbal, sexual, or physical abuse?
No.
Okay. And can you tell me, it sounds like you mentioned that your mom and dad are pretty good supports and then you have a couple of friends that you have some contact with. Um,
Just one. I have one friend.
just one, okay, just one friend. Do you have anybody else in your support system that you reach out to?
No. I used to talk a little more to this one guy at work. He works with me, Rob. But then I saw Rob had a meeting with my boss, and that's to me, I didn't doesn't seem like something that's good. So I, stopped really talking to Rob. He tried to reach out to me, but I just prefer not to talk to Rob if he's working with my boss. So I'm not sure what they're talking about, but I'm sure it's about me. So I stopped talking to Rob. So now I only have one friend.
Okay, and when you are feeling maybe kind of down or stressed out, what are some things you do to deal with that or to cope with that?
Um, Normally I feel pretty fine, but if I'm a little bit nervous about my boss or something like that, I'll go home and I'll just make sure everything's locked. I'll lock the doors. I got some extra locks on my doors and my windows lock. And, I'll have my lights on and I'll sit downstairs and I'll just make sure that I listen to make sure that nobody's coming in my house. Um, and usually after a while, if I don't hear anything, or if I hear my boss, I'll try to catch him. But if I can't catch him or I don't hear anything, then I'm fine and I can go to bed or, watch my shows or something.
Okay. Does watching shows help like improve your mood or anything, or does smoking cigarettes help at all?
Yeah, I do smoke. That's true. Well, I smoke pretty consistently, so I don't know if it's because I'm nervous or just because I like it, but I do smoke. And if I know that my boss, is around, maybe I'll smoke a little bit extra, like one or two, nothing crazy. And my shows, I like my shows. They're my criminal shows, so I can learn more things, more tactics that my boss might be using, and that way I can, just be more careful.
Okay, and is there a history or any current legal problems going on right now?
No, I have a parking ticket, but I paid it, so I think I'm fine.
Okay, we all get parking tickets. They're kind of annoying, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and I know we've gotten your chart, but I just want to ask you in case there's anything the doctor missed. Do you have any current or past medical conditions or issues?
No, I mean, when I was a kid, I broke a leg once, but that was just playing sport and then it healed, so I don't think that counts as a medical issue. My doctor said I was pretty healthy physically when I went there a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's what the chart said. Is that you look to be pretty healthy. Are you on any medications for anything at all, even including non-psychiatric issues?
No. Sometimes if I have a headache, I'll take a Tylenol, but that's only, every now and again, very
But you're not
rarely, I think.
prescribed anything.
No.
Okay. Have you ever been in the hospital for anything?
No, well, the broken leg, but I think that's it.
Is that just an ER trip or did you spend the night?
No, it was just ER.
Okay, and have you ever had a head injury or been hit really hard in the head?
No, my
Okay,
head's fine.
well, that's good. And I feel like you mentioned possibly some seasonal allergies earlier. Do you have any other allergies, like to food or drugs?
No.
Okay. And just to tie up like one final end that I always like to explore with my clients, can you tell me maybe a little bit about like your history and relationship with food and your body?
Um, I mean, I eat 3 meals a day. Sometimes I have a snack. I eat when I'm hungry pretty much. My meals are consistent, and I think my weight has been pretty normal. I don't really like to eat that much, that many vegetables, but I try to eat them because I know I need the vitamins.
Okay. And how have you had any recent changes in maybe your appetite or your sleeping schedule or ability to sleep?
No, I sleep pretty much the same every day.
And is there anything else that you would like me to know before we end this evaluation?
Well, I guess I would like to know, or I'd like to see you again or talk more or something so that I can tell my mom, that I'm doing something to help because she says that I need help apparently. I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I know that I need to be careful with my boss and I know that I would like to make my mom feel better. So, yeah, I guess are we when I will be back or am I going to talk to you again?
I will give my supervisor just a little bit of basic information. And I think that with this information, I will make sure that he's on board with what I'm thinking. I'm currently thinking that maybe continuing to have appointments on an outpatient basis, maybe once a week or so, to work on any issues that you feel like you might be having and just to figure out maybe what to do about the situation that's going on at work.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Um, well, I will get this information to my boss, um, and then I will give you a call in the next couple days once I check insurance and stuff, and we'll be able to schedule an appointment for probably around a week from now, if that's okay.
Okay. When you call, just be careful what you say in case he's listening.
Okay, yeah, and that phone call will be completely confidential too. Um, and if you, of course, have any sort of crisis or medical or psychiatric emergency between appointments, there's, of course, 911 that you can call. And my emergency number is on the business card that I gave you earlier. That is our company's mobile crisis number. We will triage you and make sure you stay safe if that's ever in question.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in session next week.
Thank you. I look forward to it as well.
Okay,
Okay, goodbye.
bye. How do I stop?